So what do we do? Because having a police force that enforces our laws and, yes, protects the citizens of New Zealand would seem to me to be one of the fundamentals of living in a civilised country, of being a citizen. It should be one of the things that we expect as citizens of a democracy and a functional democracy. I thought, to be frank, that Mark Mitchell was a bit wishy-washy on this. Was it Friday we had Mark on? And I think largely because he's a former policeman and he doesn't want to pile brown stuff on frontline officers. And we're not trying to either. We can only presume that the orders for an action at Albert Park came from somewhere else. And really, it's my job as a journalist to find out where. Even if Radio New Zealand, The Herald, Stuff, Television New Zealand, News Hub, and the rest of the wokesters don't think it's a story. Also, I guess, it's up to politicians. Up to politicians to do something about this as well. Chris Baillie is now, you are ex-police spokesperson, Chris?
Yes, that's right.
Ex-police spokesperson Chris Baillie joins us now. First up, Chris, do you think, and you're not in Parliament, it should be said, you're not an MP, but your party, but your party is. Do you think enough has been done by the body politic to ask questions about what happened in Albert Park?
First off, Sean, I am an MP.
Oh, you are, of course. Sorry, you are an MP. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, no worries. Look, I am concerned what went down at Albert Park, and I think there is enough evidence and enough questions that actually need answering, and I intend to do that.
Well, how do you do that? How do you get, how many questions does that get of a day or of a week at parliamentary question time? Or do you just have to file endless screeds of written questions now?
Yeah, there will be written questions, or there are written questions going in, and to get some sort of accountability and just find out what actually went down, who was giving the orders, and you've had a couple of interviews that I've listened to, and some of the allegations are quite concerning from your interviewees.
Look, I watched the live feed of this from Posey Parker's phone, and I was concerned watching it at what was unfolding. And this constant cry, where are the police? They're not coming. Where are the police? They're not coming. And this wasn't just about Posey Parker, was it? It was about a whole lot of other New Zealand women.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I also don't want to dump on the frontline guys. I know how tough it is. I've been in those sorts of situations before, and they certainly do their best. But there was a lot of inaction that I think needs explaining.
What do you think about the events leading up to that, and particularly the atmosphere that was created by, I have to say, government ministers and indeed the news media?
Yeah, quite agree. There was a lot of information. The police knew that there was going to be a big turnout. They knew that they were being told to be rowdy and get in their faces, and they should have known that there was going to be some sort of aggression and conflict. And it just doesn't seem that was met with the appropriate response.
Chris, more than that, though, wasn't that aggression and conflict fuelled by government politicians or Green politicians and the media and the misinformation that we saw spread throughout this country?
Yeah, I think there were a lot of irresponsible comments that went down through that whole week, irresponsible interviews by the media and television that I saw, and it was pretty obvious that it was going to get pretty heated.
Yeah. Are you surprised no one's been arrested yet and this guy, Eli Rabashkin, was allowed to go overseas? And I suppose that Chanel Lowell was Young New Zealander of the Year?
Yeah, look, there are a lot of that I just can't work out. It's there just seems to be a total inaction and no sense of urgency at all. The fact she's constantly referred to as anti-trans, and any information that I've seen has been pro-women. Just that sort of talk really fired it up and was very unhelpful.
Yeah, but that disinformation is primarily being spread by state-funded or state-owned organisations. Television New Zealand has been at the forefront of this, as has Radio New Zealand, which in its Media Watch program totally downplayed the violence on Saturday and said it was a celebration and it was all wonderful.
Yep. They were watching a different thing to what I saw as well.
Okay. Are there two alternate realities in the world, or is someone telling fibs, Chris?
Well, it's all about perspective, I suppose, and
hang on, is it? Or is it about the truth and the not truth?
You'd think so, wouldn't you? Yeah, no, I think they're certainly whitewashing or playing down a lot of the activity that we...
Okay, so you said what questions are you going to ask and who of?
Well, I want to know who was in charge. I want to know what information they had prior to, what meetings they had prior. One of your interviewees was liaising with the police. I'd like to know more information about what was actually said, what was guaranteed. Was anything guaranteed?
Yeah.
All of those questions I think really do need answering.
Yeah. Well, the Prime Minister told me last Monday, a week ago, that this was all a matter for the Commissioner. How does an MP ask a police commissioner a question?
Yeah, well, we can go through the minister, however, and we can also direct questions, OIAs, to the commissioner as well.
Yeah. Were you satisfied with the police response as you saw it Saturday, week ago?
I would be. I wouldn't. No, I wasn't really. It was. Okay. There didn't seem to be a response, to be honest. Like I said, I've worked in the past in protests with the team policing unit, and we knew a lot of information prior to that, and our job was to keep parties separate and to maintain the peace.
Yeah.
And I don't think that happened.
All right, Chris. I just want to ask you one last question. How can you call your Barron Nelson the honest lawyer? Or is that just irony?
Yeah. It's the best oxymoron that we could think of. I think it's either that or the honest politician. So take your pick.
Or indeed the unwoke mainstream journalist. Mind you, that's a bit wordy, isn't it? Hey, Chris, I thank you very much indeed for your time. And could you please keep us posted as to what responses you get? We are also frustrated in getting any official response out of the New Zealand Police, and it seems no other media are asking these questions. So good luck to you.
Thanks, Sean. I'll keep in touch. Cheers.
Cheers.